to say good evening and welcome to another edition of Sisters Strengthening Sisters Talk Show. I'm your host, Lady D, along with my beautiful co-host, Dr. Elder Lois. Today we have a phenomenal guest, and I'm going to tell you a lot about her in just a few minutes. But first, a few little messages that we need to get out to the public. One is make sure that you sign up for Christian Vision Entertainment. That's watchcve.com. It's only $38.95 for the entire year. And you can see all kinds of shows, preaching. You can see all of the Sister Strengthening Sisters TV shows. You can see praise dancers, ministers, whatever it is that's interest to you. You can do it for the kids. You can do it for yourself. They have something for the entire family. And that's watchcve.com. Christian Vision Entertainment. You can get your subscription today. You can give me a call, 678-668-4386, and I'll tell you just how you can get your 1-year subscription on watchcve.com. Also, don't forget, you still got the chance to pick up your copy of the Jailhouse Cry book that I wrote. It's a true story. All you have to do is email me at ladydwithpraise@yahoo.com, or you can give me a call, 678-668-4386, or you can go to my Facebook page, inbox me, let me know that you want your own personal copy signed of the Jailhouse Cry. Dr. Lois, I know you have some good stuff coming up.
Yes, I do. Westminster Christian Worship Center, 9 South Chelsea Avenue, Atlantic City, New Jersey. We will be having our annual fellowship conference on March the 4th at 7:30 p.m. We'll be having Pastor Gloria Johnson from Grace Tabernacle Church, Pleasantville, New Jersey. On March the 6th at 4:30 p.m., we will be having Bishop Benjamin Peterson, Greater Bible Way Temple of Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And on March the 11th at 7:30, we will be having Pastor Donald Rowell from New Life Christian Fellowship, Atlantic City, New Jersey. On March the 13th at 4:30, we will be having Bishop Mary Alexander of Refuge Kingdom Church from Wilmington, Delaware. And on March the 18th at 7:30 p.m., we will be having Pastor Edward Buster Fields, Ambassador Seed of Love Church, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. And on Saturday, March the 19th, we will be having our annual fellowship extravaganza prayer breakfast at the Sheraton Hotel and Convention Center, 1 Miss America Way, Atlantic City, New Jersey, 08401. There's a $50 donation, $60 at the door. The doors will open at 8:30. Tickets are non-refundable. Our guest preacher will be Pastor John Terrace Tate from Mount Moriah Church of LA. Musical guest will be Melvin Crispell III, 2019 Sunday Best winner, and Christopher Irvin and Abraham Descendants will be our musical guests. Praise and worship will be by Tizzer Witherspoon. For more information, you can call 609-400-2108 or 609-547-7645. All proceeds will go towards the Westminster Christian Worship Center food distribution. All tickets that were paid for in 2020 will be honored. Hotel accommodations, $150 per night plus tax. COVID-19 guidelines will be acknowledged.
Amen. So we have some wonderful things. And one more thing coming up, they're having a very, very huge Mardi Gras at the Showboat Hotel, and I'm going to be hosting the Gospel Artist Showcase. We have 15 of the most awesome gospel artists that are going to be on that showcase. Pastor Marnie Ali, she will be our guest speaker. We also have a guest DJ coming in, and you don't want to miss it. This is a time you can come and bring the entire family after they enjoy the showcase, they can take the family right over to where the big arcade is at, and everybody can be kids all over again. And that's going to be on Sunday, April the 3rd at the Showboat. And we're doing the Gospel Artist Showcase part of it. It starts at 9 a.m. until 2 p.m. So make sure you come there and spend time with us at the Gospel Artist Showcase. Amen?
Amen. And we will be on the red carpet.
Yes, yes, there will be a red carpet. So at this time, without further ado, without further ado, I am with one of my best friends for almost maybe 35 years now. And she has done a lot of things in the music industry. I had the opportunity of hiring her twice. Once for my dancing school that we had in Atlantic City years ago, and two at WUSS Radio, because she is an excellent marketing specialist. And she's going to tell you a little bit about some of the things that she has done. I could go on and on because her resume is definitely extensive. She's worked for major people, Mr. Knowles, which is Beyonce's dad. She's worked with him. Quite a few other people that she's going to be telling you about. So without further ado, my classy girlfriend, none other than Miss Tanya Byrd. Welcome to Sister Strengthening Sisters. Finally.
I made it.
Yes, but she stays busy, y'all. She stays busy. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule.
Always,
and just
always for my girl. Always. I'm honored to be here. I know you could have invited a lot of people.
But you're special to me, and here special to me. So just tell us a little bit about how we met.
Oh gosh. Actually, we met, I was moving back to Atlantic City in the 80s, and we were really young. We were like maybe 18 or so. And I had just completed a degree in dance and theater education, did not have a job, thought I would come back here and go work in the casino like everybody else did. And Dee and my dad worked together. And my dad told her that I was a dance instructor, and she actually hired me over the phone before she even met me. And that's how I became the director of her dance academy. We did a lot of things together, a lot of conferences, worked with again, she was the one that was working with all the industry heavyweights. And I have the receipts, some of them. And it's just when you meet somebody who's like a sister to you, this is it. And she said she was being humble. It's going on like 40 years of friendship.
Wow. Right.
And I say this, you can all, just like family, you can agree to disagree, but at the end of the day, the love and sisterhood always, it will always prevail. So it's almost like whatever we've been doing since that time, we've always let each other know or involve the other person.
Right.
And I can honestly say, because I was determined to get into the radio business on my own without my mother or my father, this lady was the one that told him, don't hire anybody else unless you hire Tanya Byrd.
Yes.
And here we are 30 plus years later. And I went on to do radio in Philadelphia, Baltimore, DC, had my dream job. I finally made it to the Big Apple to New York.
Yes, yes.
And I spent 8 years there at Sirius XM. I worked at Radio 1.
Kathy Hughes. Yeah, I remember that.
Yep. And so, I've done a lot of things. And one thing that I think we can both agree on is that it's not always what you know, but it's who you know.
Definitely.
And when I look back at the opportunities that I've been blessed with, it was really because I knew somebody.
Right.
Or I knew somebody who knew somebody.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you still have to let your work speak for itself. You just, you can get in there. That's one hurdle. But you have to actually prove yourself and make a difference. And I had a boss that once told me, it's not about what you did before you got here. It's like, what are you going to do now?
While you're here.
Yes, exactly. So with that, and then after spending over 20 some odd years just in radio, from terrestrial radio to satellite radio, now I function in the digital radio space, which is very much like XM satellite because you have a global footprint where you're heard all over the world. But one of the things that I find in doing radio, I say I have 99 jobs. I have 2 radio shows that air 6 times a week. I do entertainment news content for 2 networks, and then I also co-host a podcast. So mother is busy. In addition to working with a group of digital program directors to help them market their stations and make those, entrees and relationships with artists that they may not even know how to go about getting in touch with. We had a great one last week with Stokely from Mint Condition. And then before that, we've done everybody from Will Downing, we had Freddie Jackson, God rest her soul, one of my favorite clients, the cleanup woman, Betty Wright, was on the podcast. So, and moving into this whole digital space, I say it's the best place for independent artists to go. Because especially now, since COVID has come in and just changed the entire landscape of a lot of things that we do, spending that $60, $70, $90,000, the average independent artist does not have that kind of money to try to compete on that terrestrial landscape. And I say, why would you spend $25,000 when you could spend $2,500 and more people are going to hear your music? So I also work with a lot of independent artists, and just educating them about, how they can function in the digital landscape. You can still get your royalties. More people can hear you. A lot of people go overseas and you don't know who they are in this country because they've made their mark overseas where you can make a lot more money. And everybody wants to be famous where they live. Everyone wants to be famous in their hometown. And that's okay, but to that I say, you have got to be ready to step outside your sandbox because there's a lot more out there, And I always tell people, don't do, if you follow, they say, you don't follow the crowd, because, that's not where you are. And one of the things I find, and I say this all the time to independent artists is, now we talked about this, Dee and I were on a panel with some folks in a gospel association out in Chicago. And what people don't realize now is that people have so many different ways that they can consume music. It used to be we had to listen to the radio and that was it. And then we might have had BET and that was it. Now you've got streaming services. People have their own channels on Roku and Apple TV and this, that, and the third. So I tell people, take advantage of that. Again, you can hit that global footprint because at the end of the day, if 60,000 songs are being uploaded every minute, what makes your song so much better than the other 59,999 that are out there? So you have to find a way to rise above. Throwing something at the wall and see if it's going to stick. It is not it. Just promoting on Instagram and TikTok is not it. Yeah, you might hit a lick, but you want to talk about longevity in your career. Because if you're going to invest so much money in going into a studio and having a record mixed and mastered, but you have no plan, that is an absolute recipe to fail. Because if you don't have a plan, and if that plan does not include a budget, because at the end of the day, nothing is free, you have to allocate funds to market and promote your music. Otherwise, no one's going to hear it. One of the things I call my radio show is some of the best music you've never heard until now. Because there's a lot of great music out there, and nobody can hear it. And you might have the best record ever. You might come to me and say, Tanya, I got this artist. They are on fire. They are this, they are that. But they also broke. Let's call a thing a thing. And if you don't have those funds, and if you don't have the relationships, a lot of people at radio will not take a phone call from someone that they do not know.
Exactly.
But if you've got the relationship, I'm going to come over here and I'm going to hire you. And if I got the relationship, you're going to come over here and hire me. That's the first thing. You have to learn how these people tick and what days they take phone calls. Just kind of how they move around. Because at the end of the day, because again, there are so few spots on terrestrial radio, and now even this is where labels are going to break artists on streaming because they can double dip and get double revenue, which is a whole other show. But if you come to me and say, I got this artist, they're amazing, can you find a slot to put them on the radio? And I'm talking even terrestrial, I'm talking Sirius XM, and maybe even some of those, it's streaming, it's same with streaming, you have to know somebody. Curators aren't out there looking at, where's this song coming from? It doesn't work like that. And I say, so you come to me, you go, I work for Kirk Franklin. He has a new group called God's Property, and we want to get on your station. Well, she wants to get on, and you want to get on. who do you think I'm going to go with? I'm going to go with the sure thing, because you have more of a bargaining chip than this person over here, even if their record may be better than yours. But you can say, you know what, if you put my new group, God's Property, they're going to come into your market and give you a free concert, and you can keep all the money from the ticket sales. You know, so you have to look at what you're competing with out here. 'Cause at the end of the day, everybody is fighting for those 2 or 3 crumbs. So again, you've got to do your homework. You've got to invest the time and trust the process in whatever you do, and do your homework. You may not know anybody in the business, but everybody knows somebody who knows somebody.
That's right.
So do your homework and talk to them and find out how this thing goes, because if you just get out there and somebody sees you got money, they're going to group the children, and you're going to look up, you're going to have nothing.
That's right.
And a lot of times people don't know where their music's being played. You could have a record out, you could be hot as fish grease over in Japan, you could be hot as fish grease over in France, but if you do not know how to track your music, you don't know where you have an audience. So you've got to learn to go where your audience is. And rule number 1, don't listen to your mother, your auntie, your grandmother, your cousin, peanut and them, because they are not the decision makers and they are not the gatekeepers. You got to find out who these people are. And then again, you've got to have a plan. Without a plan, you are destined to fail. It doesn't matter how good your song is.
Right. And I told you she was a phenomenal, awesome, amazing woman.
I can talk.
I could actually give her the mic and just let her sit here and talk, and we can just listen to her, because she is a wealth of knowledge. She knows this business backwards and forwards. And let me ask a question that a lot of people would probably want to know. What was it like working with Mr. Knowles?
I will say this, at the end of the day, you have to give credit where credit is due. If it were not for Matthew Knowles, and not to discount Miss Tina either, not for them, you would not have the Beyonce, the Solange, you wouldn't have the Kelly Rowland, you wouldn't have the Michelle Williams, you wouldn't even have Leandria Johnson, Brian Courtney Wilson, or Amber Bullock, because for the first 5 seasons, all of those people that won Sunday's Best on BET got a record contract with Music World Entertainment, which had Music World Gospel. So all those people you saw come up out of Sunday Best, they all got signed to him. And again, that money that labels used to put into artists does not exist anymore. They want the artists to do the heavy lifting. But why should you go out and do all the heavy lifting and then make them rich? Then you end up walking away with nothing, because you don't have any money, because you're the last person to get paid. If you don't believe me, ask Little Richard, TLC, Tony Braxton, Dionne Warwick, and the list could go on.
That's what I'm talking about.
And on.
Yes,
okay?
yes.
Again, a lot of these artists were signed to labels, and they had people that did everything for them. They picked the stylist, the photographer, the clothes, talk to promoters, talk to radio, talk to TV, talk to print media, and they would just hand them a schedule and say, here's your schedule, and I just go show up. Now that they have to do it for themselves, they are gagging, because now they see what it took to get that to happen.
I kind of liked it better back in the day when we had like the Snooki Jones, God bless, rest in peace. Snooki, we loved Snooki. He was our boy. We hung out with him, for many years. But I liked it when it was a Harold Burnside, when it was Snooki, when it was Donnie Sellers, when it was Buddy D. They were real promotion people that came to the radio station and bought the music
and the artists
to the station to let you see who these people are, or said, here's a ticket for you to go see who these people are and what it is that they do. But today, it's a whole different thing, because back then you had to have a portfolio, you had to have your black and white pictures done, or your color pictures done. You had to have all of that. Now today, you can just use the computer and just put up whatever you want to put up and just do your thing that way. And it seems like it's easier to them, but to me, it was better when those kind of guys was
that
out
was
there.
back when labels would invest in people. But now they don't invest, because I know back in maybe in early 2000s, just to get an artist out the door was $1 million.
Wow.
And that's why these artists don't understand that they're the ones that are paying for your studio time and your makeup and your hair and your airline tickets and your per diem.
So you wonder why I don't have no money. Well, let's look at what you spent. You spent it on all of those things that you just named, and this is why you don't have any money now, because it was spent on all those things.
And not only that, they don't. I always tell people you need to get an attorney. Would you rather pay $500 for an attorney who specializes in entertainment, not real estate, not child support, you know, not whatever corporate law, but get somebody who specializes in entertainment, because if you pay them $500, they're probably going to save you about $50,000, because the average person does not know what that that contract means. And if you get it from a label, of course, it's written in the favor of the label, not in the favor or the benefit of the artist. And you got people out here still now signing these bum deals, and they're out here crying, like this girl, Summer Walker, is now complaining. I don't know what she sings, so don't ask me, but I do know this. She wanted that deal so bad, and then when she got one, she didn't realize that she signed for $85,000. Now, as Left Eye was saying, TLC, get ready to do your math. $85,000. You got to take out at least 30% for taxes. What does that leave you? Not much. You still have to pay for stylists and hair and makeup and clothes and tour support. You got to pay your accountant. You got to pay your manager. And don't forget, there's a business manager, a tour manager, and then there's about 3-4 different types of managers that you got to pay. And now she's crying that I don't have any money. Well, if you only thought that your worth was only $85,000, that either says, one, the person who counsel you should lose their license to practice law, or number two, you just didn't want to listen because you wanted a deal so badly. And that's just one of the many ways that artists end up broke. Remember the Supremes? They signed a deal. A couple of them said their parents had minimal education. I think Mary Wilson said her parents were illiterate. The three of them had to split a penny. How you gonna make any money?
Wow.
The 3 people had to split a penny. And people talk about, these artists that are out here now, God rest her soul, had she lived and her voice not given out, you have artists that have to tour to make money. Because Whitney was out there touring, but she was making LA and Babyface and Narada Michael Wallen and Kashif and all of them rich because they wrote the songs and she didn't.
Right.
That's why I say I'm so fortunate. Anything that I want to do, I got D right here. I already told her, I don't care what I'm doing. You in charge. And then I got Kim that you all can't see. I said, so I'm just telling you all, and you gonna do it.
But at the end, you know what that speaks to? You have the wherewithal to know to go to people who really know what you don't know. It's okay to say you don't know. The mistake is when you think you know and you don't, and you end up, broke and owing everybody else, and you just get out there and work to pay other people. But what they don't realize is that when people say, okay, I'm a consultant, I might charge $100 an hour. I know attorneys that charge $500, $1,000, whatever. That's what they're worth. It's not too much to pay them. And that's the mistake a lot of people make. And you must invest in the, so people don't do that, and then they wonder why. By the time they get to me, I get the wounded birds. So and so took my money. I don't have any money, but I got a good song. Let somebody else tell you that your song is good. So you tell that to the wrong person, it's curtains.
And one key thing that you said that's really important is that a lot of the artists today, especially the up and coming artists, they don't want to listen. They think they know it all, and they think they know every single thing.
And they don't.
You can't tell them nothing. Now, we've been out there for almost 40-something years in the industry.
Started when you were 5. We got to start when we were 5. Everybody knows that we started when we were 5 years old. Yes, we've been out here 40 years.
And so we've seen it all on the gospel side, on the R&B side, on the hip hop side. We've seen it all. And speaking of all, a friend of mine, Nathan Smalls, he's having a big festival. He do it every year. He's having a big festival at the Showboat, and he was looking for people to be on the panel to try to teach these children or teach these artists what it is he needs to teach them. Well, I'm going to put your name in.
And I would say one thing, if you don't take anything else away from what I've said here, and I know I can go and I can tell you a lot, it's free to listen. As the song says, don't cost you nothing. Free to listen.
That's right, because a lot of them, they just think that they know everything. Well, I'm just going to go sell my CDs out the car, and I'll sell my CDs every time I do a show. That's not going to get
You know what? COVID came in and you couldn't do a show. So then what happened, right?
That's right.
So I know people, and these are major artists that have taken a financial hit because their touring artists who didn't write their songs, like I said, like a Whitney, like the Whispers, you know, New Edition, they gotta work. They have not worked for 2 years, and they did not write their songs. So at the end of the day, people think they want to be famous and be all this, you know, foo-foo, shishi, poo-poo, la-la. Let me tell you one thing. The money in the music business is in writer royalties and publishing. That's the mac in the back. You can make money and not even get up out of bed. But if you got to get up there and grind and go from one city to another and get 2 hours sleep and take a disco nap and get up there and sing and act like everything is okay, I'm too old for that.
I hope you young people, whoever trying to get into the business, you are listening.
Yes, because this is good. This is good information that you need and that you can take with you. You know that and understand what the industry is all about, because you need to be with somebody that knows the industry.
And let me share this with people. A lot of people don't know this, and I learned this from working with Matthew Knowles, who is. You know, this man came from selling medical equipment. Yeah. But you know what he did before his daughters got in the business? He went to music conventions and sat in on the panels and learned.
Like we used to do.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
And that's what we used to do. I remember Larry Hayes saying, when you come back, I want to know everything that you have learned. And I want to know, I want to see it signed that you went to all of these different seminars. That's why I was sitting in there, because it was so much to do, and we was having so much fun and enjoying, you know, the music industry and the people that's in the industry. He wanted us to learn.
Back then, you could still have fun, and you might have worked hard and you might have played hard. But business got taken care of and deals were made. Everything was changed up. What I was going to say to you, what people fail to realize is, you see how the level of international fame that Destiny's Child reached. You see the international level of fame that Beyonce reached, as you know, with the group and as a solo artist. But do you know that it took those girls 6 years? Most people don't want to put in that much time. It took them 6 years to get their first hit record. Yes, they went on Star Search and they lost. They got signed to Elektra Records. They got dropped. Then when they were at CBS, it was almost the end of the road, as Boyz II Men say, and they got that Wycliffe remix for No, No, No. So they were out there grinding all those years, and again, they listened. You know, granted they were underage, but they listened and they had guidance. And again, you have to know how to navigate this business and how to build bridges. And that's what has helped them. They didn't just blow up the spot, you know, get signed on Tuesday and have a #1 record on Wednesday. Again, Matthew and Tina Knowles had a plan. Now, granted, everybody doesn't have the parents that have the, you know, maybe, you know, the financial wherewithal to be able to support them for all those years. But you remember, her father quit his job, and it could have went either way. You know, but it worked. But again, it took them that long, you know, to have a hit record. So for those of you that think you can make a record on Tuesday, be famous on Wednesday, and have $1 million on Thursday, and get the Grammys on Friday, it's like reality TV in Atlanta. It ain't real. It's not real. So you know that, and you're gonna take some lumps and bumps, and everybody's not gonna like you. That's just the way it is. But don't go to somebody and say, "Don't you want to be my manager?" when you have nothing to manage.
Exactly.
Managers, you know, some of them end up being mother, father, therapist,
oh my
daycare.
Goodness. Two people just asked me to manage that them recently.
And people don't realize, again, managers have different roles, but it is not to pay your bills and take care of your baby mama, because you know, out there grinding, trying to get put on. It doesn't work like that. Because one thing people forget also, as an artist, you are a business, and a business is a brand. If you don't build your brand, again, I say, you might as well throw your little 2 cents out the window. Because it's not going to happen. People have so many more ways of consuming music now. It's not just the radio. It's not just BET. You have to look and see what's out there. And you know what? Pick up a book if you can find one. You know, or just read and learn. Or be a sponge and ask people questions, yes, but don't try to get a 1-hour consultation and go, okay, thank you. Then go across the street to somebody who's going to goop you, and then you come back to me after the fact. Not good.
Right. That's right. I told you, she is a wealth of knowledge, and I hope that she is able to come back here in June to be a part of the Black Music Festival that they're gonna have at the Showboat, because they're
Wonderful.
looking for people that are educated in these fields so that they can educate these people that are trying to get in the business, and some that are in the business but things have gone wrong. So,
Yes.
with that being said, we're going to have to bring her back another time, because a half an hour is just not enough time for my girl, Miss Tanya Byrd. Like I said, she's worked with so many people in the music industry, and she's been out there for a long time. She's educated in this field, and if there's anything that she can tell you and let you know, she is the one to come to. So if someone wanted to, I know you do the Buzz as well.
Yes, I'm co-editor of the Urban Buzz, which
Yes.
is an industry magazine that's been online for 22 years.
Yes,
So as my
yes.
time permits in my other 99 jobs, I also am a co-editor. But if people want to find me, you can go to Instagram. And my company is Birdwire Media. And my Instagram is official, like the word official, as in, I hope I am. B as in boy, W as in woman, M as in man, _1. Official BWM_1. You can also just find you. Look, it's free to listen. People can call me. I'm giving out my number. 678-743-7400. I am based in Atlanta. 678-743-7400. And I look forward to chopping it up with people. But again, it's a business, and just like anything else, if you want to learn how to pig farm, if you want to learn how to make cement and lay pavement, you have to learn before you do it.
Right.
And it's just that simple, I just say learn before you
Get
burn.
educated.
Learn before you burn.
Especially in this business of
Or
this
get
music
burned.
business,
Yes.
or get burned. For those of you who don't like to listen and you think you know it all,
This is
and
not
you
the
want to
place
do it
for you.
yourself, this is not
This
the
is
place
not the
for
party
you.
for you.
You are not going to become an overnight wonder. That doesn't happen anymore.
But you know what I say? I say these people want to be microwave artists. When you come out, you're hot. Then everything come out the microwave. What happens after a while?
It's cold.
It cools off.
That's
and you
right.
go on to the next one. So if
Exactly.
you want to be a microwave artist, I'm probably not the person you want to talk to. I'm just calling a thing a thing. And again, if you think you want to be in this business, and I tell people this all the time, I learned this from Matthew Knowles again, you have to learn to be uncomfortable, because the journey that you think you want to get to whatever street it is and you want to arrive there, you have to be prepared to be uncomfortable. And if you're not prepared to be uncomfortable, and again, put on those blood, sweat, and tears, and maybe say, oh, I'm tired, you know what, you got to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning and be at radio in full makeup and everything at 8 o'clock, that's just be careful what you ask for.
That's right.
Because it's not all pretty, it's
Glamorous
pretty
like you
done,
think it is.
right, all the time. It's not, And you also think about people want to be famous, but then when people come around them, they get a little testy. You will have to give up your privacy. That's just a reality of it. So, be careful what you wish for and do your homework. And again, if you are going to build a brand, I can help you. If you just want to be hood famous, I'm not that girl.
All right, there you got it. Right here, you got the real deal. I'm so happy that she took time out of her busy, hectic schedule from Atlanta, GA to Philadelphia, where she's on her way back to.
But after I record 2 shows, 2 news segments.
I thank you so much.
Thank you for
coming.
having me. I hope to come back again and share some more knowledge.
Yes,
And
we
this is
definitely
knowledge that
have
it's
you
across the board. Doesn't matter if you do holy hip hop or hip hop. You can do R&B. You can do inspirational. You can do gospel. You can do traditional. You can do whatever it is. At the end of the day, there are some common threads in this business, and those are the ones. If you sow that seed, you will be successful.
Amen. You've heard it right here on Sisters Strengthening Sisters. I'm your host, Lady D, along with my co-host, Dr. Elder Lois, and also my special guest on today, none other than Miss Tanya Byrd.
Miss Lady Dizzy. I want to be a lady something when I grow up.
So we want you all to have a great evening and join us again when we are here with Sister Strengthening Sisters TV show. Love you. Be blessed. We'll see you next time.
Come on, sisters, let's get strong.
Come in.